So here we go. Toby, stage is yours. Take it away. Microsoft Teams integration for ownCloud.
Thanks, Jacob, for the sweet introduction. So hi, I'm Toby from ownCloud. And today I will talk about the Microsoft Teams integration we offer. So at the end of the talk, what will you know what you maybe don't know at the moment? First of all, I will show you what you can do with Microsoft Teams and ownCloud, and also what you cannot do. And secondly, I will show you how you can get there. So I will give you some steps how you can install Teams integration and give you some pointers where you need to head at if you are willing to use this integration. But first of all, just 2 sentences about ownCloud. So most of you might know ownCloud. It started as a real small open source project, and if somebody asks me what I'm doing at work, then I usually say something like, we are developing something like Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive, but open source and on-premise, so you can host it on your own server, maybe at home, or if you're a bigger company in the data center. So as I said, Dropbox, it started as a small project, and currently this is one of our bigger installations. So it's not our installation, but it's of our development partner CERN, the Nuclear European Research Facility, and this is one of their data centers where they are running the new infinite scale platform. Okay, so but now let's get to the point why you are here. Let me talk about the Microsoft Teams integration, and I will just show you the demo how it works. So I will switch over to the browser. And you should now see my browser and Microsoft Teams, as many of you know it. Yeah, usually the action is happening here in the chat and here in the Teams maybe. And what you may notice, there is this new icon here on the left, this item. And this is actually where you get to the ownCloud integration. You can change this icon in the title, by the way, so you can adjust it to your corporate identity. I click on it, and what I now see is a button where it says login with Azure AD. So I will click on that and will be logged in. So this means that I, as a regular user, I'm not getting asked for login, so or I'm not getting asked for username and password because we are using single sign-on here. And what can I do now? So what you see here is just the ownCloud as you might know it if you already use it, and it's framed by Microsoft Teams. And let's say I want to share now some files with Jacob, for example. I would go to those project files here, and this file is already shared within ownCloud with Jacob. This I can see this here, and what I do now is that I just copy the link and switch over to the chat and paste the link here with Jacob. Okay, so now Jacob receives this link, can click on the link and just sees the file in his ownCloud. And what's the advantage basically of this approach? So we noticed that users often get totally lost when they try to find the right browser tab. So sometimes users have more than 20 tabs open and have a hard time to find the right one. So what you see here is the idea to reach ownCloud actually without having to leave the current browser tab. So that's user facing, that's the basic idea. Could also put it differently and say the fundamental idea is that you have your most important tools all collected under one rooftop, which is Teams in this case. All right, so and what you also see here that there is no preview or something like that. So often if you just drop files here, first of all, then the files are usually uploaded to a Microsoft server. And if you paste other links, maybe they will auto-generate some preview. And this is something we intentionally don't want, because the main idea here is that we only exchange links within Teams, so that no data are exposed to the Microsoft server except the link. So the basic idea here is that we want to achieve 100% GDPR compliance, and of course we own the data on our own hardware, so to speak. So this means if I would go back to my project files, for example, and I could now go back to this folder here. I could now also just delete the access from the access of Jacob from this file. So I would just hit the trash bin there. So now the access is revoked. And in this case, Jacob could not use this link anymore because it's just because the access got revoked. Okay, what's not possible is that you disable. This is something we often get asked that you disable the files tab here or here within Teams. So the best thing you can do is to unpin it, to kind of hide it from end users, but that's nothing that is in our domain, so to speak. What is also not possible at the moment is that you drag and drop files, let's say, from here to the chat window. This is also something we hear often, but this is currently not possible, just to some technical limitations, because this is a simple iframe. Okay. Yeah, that's it basically. I would go back to the presentation and tell you what is needed as prerequisites for the integration. So first of all, you need Azure Active Directory as your identity provider. And the ownCloud must be at least at the version 10.7. You need the ownCloud OpenID Connect extension and the ownCloud Bridge for Teams. And if you want to use the single sign-on as we saw it, so meaning you don't have to enter a username and password, but just can click on the button, log me in, then you need the Enterprise Edition of ownCloud. You can also test the integration without an Enterprise Edition, but then you would have to enter your login credentials every time for ownCloud. And how do you get the integration? We have a very verbose step-by-step instruction at our documentation. So just go to doc.owncloud.com and search for Teams, and there you will find the documentation, and there is everything described you need to know if you want to integrate with Teams. And which is one thing which is also mentioned within the documentation is that we have an app in the App Store. This app is specially made for admins, and this app helps you guiding through the integration process a little bit. Yeah, so if you want to integrate, just your first point to go to is the documentation of ownCloud, which is doc.owncloud.com, and search there for the teams, for Teams. All right, that's it basically. And Jacob, do we have any questions right now already?
So we do have one question indeed that popped up quite early, so I'm glad we can take the time on the fly to answer this. So the question says, so this is the Teams, this is Teams in the web version. Is this integration also working with the desktop app of Teams?
Yes, yes, yes.
Straight answer, yes, it does. Any other questions, by the way, since we take the time? Yeah, Toby, please.
Yeah, I chose the web version because there you can display the problem with the tabs. So often users get totally lost finding the right tab because they have 20 tabs open. And of course, if you have the native app installed, then you have a kind of first-class citizen there with a native app. But still, you as a user, you might get into trouble if you want to find the right tab with ownCloud in it. Yeah, that's why I chose the web version in this case.
Any other questions from the panel? Either via the question tool, or please feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, we have another one popping up. Does this integration work with the guest app for sharing files external to the organization?
So I guess you mean the guest app of ownCloud. And yes, because actually you can do everything with the integration that you can usually do without the integration. So let me just show the screen again. Let me go back to the browser. So, the point is, what you see here is just your regular ownCloud, and within this window, you can do almost everything that you can usually also do with your ownCloud if your ownCloud is open in a dedicated tab or window. And this means you can just invite guests as you do it usually. Yes.
Okay, so we have another. Toby, maybe the question is more whether pointing at the idea that if guests can log in as well and without having to invite them. If that clarifies it. Meanwhile, we have another question coming in, so we can cover that afterwards, and maybe I'm not going to name names. Obviously, GDPR is part of the recording. Maybe you can just give me a little hint if you're happy with the answer that Toby just gave, or if you have another follow-up question. Next question is, can you edit in Teams with tools like OnlyOffice or Office Online? And then now we're getting tricky. So you're in Teams, and then you open the file with OnlyOffice or even Office Online. Is that possible, Toby?
Yeah, let me show it to you. So let's say we create a new Word document here. And what then simply happens, I hope you see this, a new window opens.
Yeah, we can see that.
Now you are in Word Online. And so it's actually just the same behavior that you get with your normal ownCloud installation. So yes, that's possible. Let me write something. Now it's directly saving back this Word file to ownCloud. So here's this new file. I close it. And yeah, now it's saved back. And
so
yeah,
what we would not recommend you to do is to upload the file to have the collaborative editing capabilities of Teams, because, right, Toby, that would mean that you will transfer the whole file towards Azure, which is exactly what you don't want to do if you want to have it in ownCloud.
Absolutely right. So if you're in kind of a high security environment, then you wouldn't use Office 365, I guess. Then you would use something like Collabora, which is or OnlyOffice, which is on premises. Then yes, sure. Yeah.
Okay, we have one more question. This is pointing a little bit towards the same direction. We opted for more data security. Is an actual chat integration planned, for example, to choose files for sharing without changing into another area in Teams? Manually copying the link is kind of unhandy.
I'm quite happy that you asked this question, because we had the same idea, and I thought if I should ask the question, but now I'm really happy you did it. Yes, this is currently not possible, but as we get more and more requests providing user experience as you describe it, I think you mean something like you just go to the chat and then get a file picker down here, and then the ownCloud opens, something like that. I guess you mean something like that. Then yes, this is something we should do, and as we're getting more and more requests. This is currently not at the roadmap, but I will bring this back to the team and discuss how we can shift resources and maybe get it working the next time. Good point. Happy to hear that.
Also important to know is whether you would upload a file or send it via link in that scenario, because once you upload a file directly from ownCloud, it goes through Azure, right?
Right. So if we would implement, if you want have that file picker experience, then I would 100% stick to the current concept of only sharing links. So in this case, you would just not have to switch to this point here. I think that is what you're meaning. You would not have to switch to that navigation point here, but you would stay on the chat, click on pick file, and then the link would be generated and posted to your chat partner. This is what I would suggest, because we don't want to expose files to servers outside of the organization, of course.
And we have one more question. Is more of a statement. One person says, at this moment, I'm a bit lost. Isn't it possible for ownCloud in this scenario, or is it possible for ownCloud in this scenario to be a OneDrive replacement? I'm not sure if I get the question right. I mean, you can use it as a OneDrive replacement.
I don't know if you
replacement for Teams to transfer files. Maybe obviously, I mean, you can only work with ownCloud. You don't need Teams to share files with ownCloud. You can share them directly from ownCloud.
Yes, of course you can. If you share a file with an ownCloud, then the share receiver gets a notification, of course. But I think the nice thing, or I guess, and the reason why people, especially in remote situations, are using Teams and the rise of chat in the last 10 or 5 years, is that you can add some more communication to it and not just drop the file. And then we are in the area of a chat application, of course. So at ownCloud, we are right now focused on enterprise file sync and share. And if there is the need for exchanging messages This has at the moment has to happen in another application or integration like Teams or any other chat app of your choice, of course. Yes.
And I think we have another one which points to the same direction. One with any plannings to make OneCloud being the standard storage, replacing OneDrive, for example, when drag and dropping files directly into the chat. So that would be the same scenario, maybe for non-sensitive data that you would accept being transferred to Azure. If you have demands for that, maybe just to make this point very clear, you can always talk to your representative. You know we we like custom developments. If there's need for that for you guys, then please let us know. If you do not have a dedicated sales representative or a technical account manager so far, please let us know. We can get you in touch with the right persons. You can always drop us an email. That would be marketing@owncloud.com. Obviously, it's not going to be us in marketing following up with you, but we'll make sure to get you in touch with the right persons here at OwnCloud. We have another question. This is really seems to be an important issue. Okay, we are keeping OneDrive off due to security limitations. Correct. That's why our users cannot attach or send files in Teams. We would like to enable file transfer in Teams, and we thought we could use your OwnCloud server to store those files instead of OneDrive. Well, this is what you can do, but you would share them with the link, I think. So you wouldn't exchange the file itself. You would exchange it via the link.
Yeah, so to my knowledge, this is currently not possible within Teams. So if you know something different, so let me know. But the use case you're describing here, yes, would be cool if this would be possible. So just to have OwnCloud as this replace OneDrive with ownCloud as a standard storage layer, but of course Microsoft does not want to happen this, and yeah, so this is kind of closed as far as I know. So yeah, we won't get that deep into Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, we depend on Microsoft's willingness to accept this, unfortunately. Yes. And we have another question. Once a file is shared to a team via Teams, so this is a team within Teams, and the new member, so this is interesting, and the new member is added to a team, could the file be automatically be reshared with the new team member, or would this have to be done manually? I think it depends on the link, right? Is it a public link or is it a private dedicated link?
Correct. So the permission, the question who has access to, let's say, this project files folder, the question is answered within OwnCloud and not within Teams. So if I want Jacob to have access to the project files folder, I need to add him in OwnCloud and grant access here. I could also have here a group named marketing, and then everybody within the marketing group would automatically get access to the project files folder. And then everybody could use, for example, this link to access the project files folder, as long as he or she is in the group or explicitly invited, as Jacob is in this case. So the permissions are completely managed within OwnCloud and not in Teams, in Microsoft Teams. So this means you can, if you have access to the link, then it depends on if you were invited here or not, if the link is useful for you or not. So because if you're not invited, the link is completely useless for you. You need to be invited in ownCloud. This is your source of truth in this case.
Privacy first, obviously here, as our customers mainly use this in high security environments, very high demands in terms of data compliance, data protection. Does that answer your question? Maybe you can give us a little sign, or should we dig a little bit deeper?